Hello everybody and welcome back to another trip report. Today I'm here at Griffith Regional Airport in New South Wales and I'm going to be catching Sharp Airlines aboard a Fairchild Metroliner 23 from here in Griffith down to Melbourne Essendon. This is actually very exciting for me. It's my first time to Melbourne Essendon, first time on Sharp Airlines and first time on the Metro 23. But anyways, here in the actually decent sized car park for the size of the airport. Now entering the airport, and first up you're greeted with the Sharp Airlines check-in, followed by Rex and Qantas. And here's the departure terminal, as there is no security here. Anyways, let's check in. Check-in complete, and as I mentioned earlier, there is no security. Check-in agent was very friendly, managed to get my seat. There's actually only 4 passengers on this plane. I think the rest of the passengers will be at the back because the plane is a little bit front heavy back here. So seat 2A, which is next to the propeller. And you don't get a normal boarding pass, but you do get a piece of paper like this. So yeah. Anyways, I think we have about half an hour until our plane boards. So you can just sit down on these seats. And there's a few charging ports and a vending machine, but that's about it. Also, just a little bit of information about Sharp Airlines. Basically, it's a small regional airline based in Tasmania and Melbourne Essendon. They operate out of Melbourne Essendon to Flinders Island, King Island and Griffith, like what we're doing today. And they also fly from destinations such as Launceston to King Island, Burnie and Hobart, as well as Flinders Island, and a few other small hops around Tasmania. But all in all, it's a pretty small airline. Just realised you can actually use these sliding doors to go to a beautiful outside area where you can sit and wait for your plane to arrive. I don't need to wait long though, because any second now, in fact here it is right now. My plane is just landing in from Melbourne Essendon as we speak. Our plane for today is VH-OYN. VH-OYN. This is a 1994 built Fairchild Metroliner 23. This plane was delivered originally to Hazelton Airlines, which some of their planes were taken on by Rex. Hazelton Airlines was bought in 2001 by Ansett, and shortly later Ansett filed for bankruptcy. This plane was therefore put up for sale and eventually sold to Pearl Aviation in around 2002. Then, I could not tell you the exact date, as the information does not exist to my knowledge, or I can't find it. But this plane was eventually handed over to Sharp Airlines, but still has some of the Pearl Aviation livery. Just informed by ground staff that we're now boarding. Nice being able to get a beautiful view of today's aircraft. Hi, how you going?
Thanks mate, welcome aboard. There you go mate. Just make sure you handle the rails, they're all out.
Yep. Here's the cockpit. And here's the cabin. It's in a 2-2 layout. In fact, you need to be careful because I'm 150 centimetres and I'm hitting my head. But there's also 3 seats at the back. Here's my seat for today, 2A on the left side of the aircraft with a view of the wing.
I'll be your captain. Joining at the front today will be Liam, he'll be the first officer. About a 5 to 60 minute flight down to Essendon today. Might get a couple of bumps out of here as we climb up through the cloud layer. Once on top of the cloud, through about sort of 7,000 or 8,000 feet, it should be in a bit of a smoother out.
Okay, now that we're on board, we've got our safety briefing. Let's go through the seat features of this aircraft. Do want to note that the window here is extremely dirty, which is a bit annoying, but still got a nice view. Yep. Legroom is good. I would say that it's the same as like a 737, but perfectly fine for a regional plane like this. Safety card, Sharp Airlines in the seat pocket here, where you can put some items to. You have a Sharp Airlines paper magazine, and then yeah, not much else really. That doesn't work.
The class,
and there is no headrest, but it's pretty comfy for a plane of this size.
On board Sharp Airlines flight 872 through Essendon. My name's Pentagon, I'll be the first officer for this flight, located on the forward bulkhead. Occasionally in flight may hear a falling sound. It's an odd operating functioning aircraft, so do not be concerned. Maybe how you'll find an event where it's headed anti-clockwise for fresh air. Full electronic devices modality switch off for placing a flight mode. I'm sure the seatbelts are fastened on tight, and hand will be discharged on the floor underneath the seat in front of you, let the eye remain clear. I've got about a 60-minute flight time through Essendon today. As discussed before, maybe a few lumps just as we climb above some of the lower layers.
Time for takeoff. Also, I do apologise if you guys can't hear me, because this plane is relatively loud. Above the clouds. I must say I was expecting a lot more turbulence than what we actually experienced. It was pretty smooth, but it is very noisy. Not too sure what altitude we're climbing to, but I can see that it's currently set to 18,000 feet. However, the pilots did mention earlier that we would be cruising at 22,000. And smooth flight with no major turbulence, and yeah, overall it's actually been pretty comfortable, and the noise is very loud but consistent, which in my opinion makes it a lot easier to deal with. Like, it's not the engine isn't revving up and down all the time. Also, it is getting very cold in here since these air vents are doing a very good job. That feels like a freezer. Up here at 22,000 feet, we are experiencing a small amount of turbulence as a thick layer of cloud above us has formed as we have now entered Victorian airspace, flying over Shepparton. And yeah, I must say I'm impressed with how the Metro 23 handles this turbulence. I would say it's better than both Qantas and Rex, considering we're pretty much right in the middle of a cloud, which is prime turbulence zone, and just getting a few minor bumps, nothing uncomfortable. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there is a little crack, not crack, but scratch on the window here, there is a little bit of an indent, but there's no actual cracks. That's interesting. But yeah, pretty smooth, decent flight. Now starting to see the pretty green paddocks below of North Melbourne. Very rainy, as it often is in Melbourne, and you can tell that there's a bit of rain, a bit concerning. However, there is a water drop here, which is basically 2 layers of glass, and this is on the inner layer, so it's not, I can't touch it, but it's on the other side. A little bit concerning if you ask me, but I'm sure it's all good. It's still perfectly safe. Now beginning our approach and landing into Melbourne Essendon. Once again, getting a few bumps, but not too bad. Welcome to Essendon. For those of you who don't know what Melbourne Essendon Airport is, it actually, before Melbourne Tullamarine was built, was Melbourne's main airport, and international flights even did come into this airport.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Essendon. Just a reminder to please remain seated.
Now time to deboard.
Good job.
Huh?
Jump up there.
Really?
Yeah, jump in the right seat, and I'll jump in the seat just to your right.
Yeah.
That one there.
Oh, welcome to Essendon, as I mentioned earlier. Right up to the... Now this is the departures terminal here in Melbourne Essendon. It looks quite nice. There's some seating areas here and free Wi-Fi. But yeah. Anyways, baggage claim's just this way. and I will conclude the trip report here. Well, it costed nearly $200 for this flight, which is quite expensive, but if you were to stop in Sydney, it would cost pretty much the same. So yeah, it was very noisy but very smooth, so if you're claustrophobic or don't like loud noises, I suggest you fly via Sydney, probably with Qantas. But if you don't really mind that, or you like flying on interesting planes like me, I highly suggest that you do fly on this aircraft. And yeah, all the staff are friendly too. But that does conclude this trip report of Sharp Airlines flight SH872 from Griffith to Melbourne, Essendon. If you enjoyed this trip report, which I hope you did, because I believe, to my knowledge, this is the very first trip report or full review of Sharp Airlines. So yeah, thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video hopefully.